Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Friday, September 5th, a little after 8:15 at night, and this is our daily recap video for our YieldMax Ultra Income Funds, Ulti, the Standard Ultra Option Income Strategy Fund, and SLTY, the Ultra Short Option Income Strategy Fund. If you're not completely familiar, they are not inverses of each other. It's just the opposite strategy. All right, I'm on X at ETF_Inspector1. I post all things related to all the different ETFs I cover, videos, declarations, everything like that. I do have, I like to always start with my thank yous. Might take me a minute to scroll down and find it. I should have had it prepared. Right here. Andre Moller, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Andre did a $5 super thanks on the Ulti video from yesterday. So thank you very much, Andre. Definitely appreciate the support. All right, we'll take a look at the markets. It was a roller coaster today for sure. Ulti started up nice, ended up so low. It was getting scary, and we touched the 530s, and then finally ended back in the positive at the end of the day. A lot of the market did a very similar pattern. SLTY, basically the opposite, right? Looked like they were taking off nicely early in the day, and then trailed back off to an overall loss. And once again, here we see it. It seems like every day we're saying this, after hours trading, it's making back everything it lost and then some. So I'm curious if anybody is making any plays on that, buying on these down days and then selling it back in the after hours after it goes up. That'd be interesting. You'd have to have a decent amount of money to make anything, but so we'll scroll through. Good mixture, red and green, all across the screen. Not anything all one direction or not, but we did definitely have some interesting stories to talk about from the trading day. So let's dig right in. After 5:30, unfortunately it's real late, almost 8:30. My middle daughter's soccer practice, and I'm the assistant coach, so I didn't get to work on anything until I got home at almost 8 o'clock, maybe a little before. And luckily, Friday's video is a little faster, but you're able to go onto their page, scroll down to the holdings, and above the holdings, click on intraday trades. As you can see, today's was a very large file, over 40K, so tons and tons and tons of trades today. So as we scroll until we get down to Ulti, going from line 496 to 609. So that's the first day over 100 in a little while. What's that, 113-ish? And then SLTY, 611 to 707, nearly 100 trades there. So we've got about 200 trades to talk about, but fortunately, if you haven't been to the channel before, Fridays we do get through the information a little bit faster than usual. So we copy that all in, paste it in here, have to sum it up or multiply it out. It's different depending on if it's shares compared to if it is options, so they get different formulas. But big picture, we sold a good portion of our EcoStar Corp shares, but not all of them, so we still are in them. And we sold all of our shares of Tesla. Now you're probably thinking you didn't see Tesla crossed out on the thumbnail, and that's because although we sold all our shares, we are still trading them. So we'll talk about that when we get down there. All right. We're not as concerned with prices of options, whether things were complete closeouts or rolls, because we don't talk about that on Friday, because we know everything had to get closed and rolled that wasn't already. So at the end of today's trading, there will be nothing left that's obviously expiring today, because today's over. It's all rolled till next week or beyond. And we do a Sunday deep dive week look ahead, where we look at every single stock and every single option to look at how far in or out of the money and trading ranges. So we're not going to do that twice. We just kind of talk about money made or lost and get through it so you can get your weekend started. All right, so we're basically just going to hit the highlight reel. Affirm Holdings close and roll resulted in a debit of $3.4 million. AppLovin, whole lot of trades just to result in a debit of $600,000. Now we will look at this one for just a second because big news, AppLovin got added to the S&P 500 today after hours. So while they were down almost 2% on the day, they're up 6.4% after hours. This could end up being trouble for us because, let's see, 521 is where they're sitting right now. Where do we sell our calls for next week? 490 and 507.50. So we will be starting deep in the money right from the start if the prices there hold up. So we could be in for a rough Monday or a rough week next week as far as AppLovin. We've got another one to talk about when we get there. You guys probably are ahead of me and already know what it's going to be, but that's okay. We'll save it. ASTS, or AST Space Mobile, resulted in a credit of $660,000 on the close and roll. Coinbase resulted in $1.6 million credit rolling to next week. Credo, or however you pronounce it, Technology, that one cost us $4.1 million to close and roll to next week. Galaxy Digital, $2.2 million debit. So what we've got happening on a lot of these, not Galaxy, is the prices are starting to go up, and so they've gone beyond our sold calls, and that's why it costs so much money to close them out. Galaxy's a different story because we were selling puts on Galaxy, and that one went down. So we closed them out, and we're selling more puts. So we're continuing that negative. So they had it right. They knew it was going down, but they just didn't sell their puts far enough out of the money to play it correctly. The good thing is we don't own shares of Galaxy, so as it goes down, we're not losing value to our fund because we don't own any shares to be going down. Okay, Robinhood, next up, we did bring in a credit of $1.2 million, closing and rolling the next week, but this is another one that just got added to the S&P. So while they were down 1.6% during the trading day, they're up 6% after hours after that big news for them. As you can see, finally gets a place in the S&P 500. So they're trading around 107 right now. Let's see where we sold our calls for next week, 101 and 103. Now we did buy calls at 110 so that we could participate in the upside should it run well past that. But it looks like it's going to fall right in between, kind of worst case scenario, but it is what it is. So we made some money there. We're going to pay some money to close those out next week. IonQ, close and roll to next week, $1.3 million credit. Strategy, MSTR, rolling the next week resulted in $318,000. Nebius Group, the roll resulted in a $779,000 credit. Oklo, $496,000 credit on the roll. Palantir, $1.2 million credit on the roll. Reddit down. That does sound funny every time I say it, going from credit to Reddit. Reddit was a debit of $669,000, closing out this week's options and selling next week's. Rigetti, $531,000 credit. Rocket Lab, $90,000 debit. It is funny to see a number like 90,000 when we're trading, when we've got $100 million within the stock. Sats EcoStar, right? We sold a whole bunch of our shares, so we had to close out the the options that went along with that. So obviously, when you're closing out but you're not selling for the next week, unless they went way down and your puts became valuable, it's going to cost you money, and that's the case here. $3.7 million debit. Tesla, we sold all our shares. We bought to close our options, but then we went ahead and sold a put spread on them going into next week. So we don't own shares anymore, and we just have a put spread. $652,000 credit. And finally, Unity Software closing and rolling to next week resulted in a almost $5 million debit. So all of those options trades, not including the closing out or the selling of shares themselves, resulted in a almost $11 million debit on the trading day. So we were positive 5.8 million on Tuesday, negative 6.5 on Wednesday, positive 15.7 on Thursday, and negative 10.9 on Friday. So those are the numbers we'll be working with as we create our estimates. That video will come out on Sunday. All right. Again, we don't put any of our orange here to show what got closed out, because if it's September 5th, it's now closed out because it's over, it's expired. And if it's September 12th, we don't need to talk about it yet. We got a whole weekend, and then we got all next week. So we will do that on the week look ahead. So we just go ahead and get through these. We're not concerned with what percentage in or out of the money they are at right now. We'll talk about that Sunday. So Affirm Holdings was down 2.5%, a little more. App Lovin was down almost 2%. So 3.6 million, but we do know that's jumping way up when we open back up on Monday. AST Space Mobile up 1.3%. Webull down 2.64%. I should also mention on Sunday, we also go through and update all of our IVs so that our implied volatility, so we can make a nice estimate as far as what the distribution could possibly be next week. Coinbase down a little over 2.5%, back under 300. Credo Technology up over 5%. Good day. Unfortunately, they were in the money to start, so as it was going up, the cost to close out was as well. There were some opportunities, though, obviously, with the way the market swung high and low and back to high again, that if they were trading real well, they might have performed their trades at better timing than what these closes are. CoreWeave up 1.84%. We got $225 million in government funds and another $125 million in cash. So what's that? $350 million on the side, ready to rock. Galaxy Digital ended at $23.49. We don't really track increases and decreases because we don't own shares, so it didn't affect our value, just the options themselves. Robinhood Markets down 1.6, but like we said, they're up 6 or 7% in the after hours. IonQ down about 0.75%. Strategy up 2.5%. I am curious because we were all waiting to see if they were going to get added. Did they drop after not getting added to the S&P? Where are they? They did. They basically gave up the gains they had during the day. 2.89% drop after a 2.5% increase. Nebius Group up 0.86%. Oklo up a little over 0.25%. Palantir down 1.94%. So Palantir's been kind of slowly dropping lately. They were unstoppable for a little while. Yeah, we've hit that mountain peak and been dropping back down. It'd be nice to start moving back up again for sure. Reddit up 3.4% to an even 240. Rigetti down 0.13% or 2 cents, not that much. Rocket Lab had a big day, up 6.6%, over $10 million of value added there. EcoStar up 0.03% or 2 cents. So this is interesting. Let's take a look at where we sold compared to the closing price and see if we got a better price than that. 67.24 is where it ended. 67.56 and 68.19. So at least we did go ahead and take some profits at the higher price than where it ended. So good job on that one. New Scale Power, the big loser today, down 4.16%. 34. For some reason, I feel like they were much higher. Yeah, they were in the 50s. Another one, similar chart to Palantir there. Tesla up 3.64% over 350. Again, let's see if we sold these shares at a better price. 345. We did not. We missed out on almost $5 worth of share price. That would have helped on 290,000 shares. Unity Software, the big winner today, up over 9%. $12+ million increase in value. And Upstart up a little over 1.5%. So all those changes, increases and decreases, resulted in a $22 million increase in value. So again, we were down on Tuesday, down again on Wednesday, up on Thursday, and up on Friday. Overall, our values did drop for the week, and overall we did actually turn a profit, brought in more income than we put out as far as options trading. So we'll go through all those numbers on Sunday when we make our estimate. Next, we'll take a look at SLTY. All right, for starters, SLTY put a lot of money to work. Ooh, I actually made a mistake. I missed this buy to close. I thought it was all sales. So that's a negative. 3,400. We might have closed out a Lululemon. We did. Okay, so we are no longer shorting Lululemon, although we did knock that one out of the park for sure. Let's take a minute to see. Well, it's going to be more than a minute, but let's look at how much we started out selling Lululemon for, comparing it to how much we bought to close it for. So from the start, we were selling Lululemon at $198. That's real nice. Sold some more at $207. Sold some more at $201. Sold some more at $203. That was yesterday. And now today, after all those, we bought it to close at $168. So I did not prepare ahead of time to total all that up, but that worked out very well in our favor. We obviously brought in income each time selling that reverse collar, but of course it dropped well beyond our sold puts, so we are paying a pretty penny to close that out. Okay, but other than Lululemon, we went ahead and sold more of the rest of the funds, or the rest of the stocks within the fund, bringing in $2.4 million. But again, I've included that this week. Let me see if I can, hide that stuff back away. I did include it this week, but I'm taking it out going forward because every single time money gets put in the fund, we immediately sell short more shares, which brings in money. And it almost is like just people investing is looking like profit, and it's not. It looks like this $10 million fund made like $7 million this week, which it did not. So we're going to have to take that out and just do options trading moving forward next week. Again, we're not going to go into the details, so we'll just say trading options on Adobe. We brought in 2,200, collected 2,200 on Astera Lab, collected 15,000. Applied Digital, we collected 6,800. Broadcom, we collected 3,400, and that's actually a close and roll. same. Actually, it's same. So it's just a closing the 285 and selling a 315 put. So it's just rolling the put strike up closer to the money. Bloom Energy, we collected 8,800. Bitmine Immersion, that one hurt. We spent $28,000 on that close and roll. BitDeer, another 22,000 debit to close those and roll them. Circle Internet, we brought in 1,400. Enphase Energy, 11,000 collected. GitLab had a credit of 1,900. Lemonade, that's an insurance company, I believe. We spent $3,000 to roll those. Lululemon, $90,000 cost to close those out. The problem is it really wasn't their mistake. It's just that all the action took place while the markets were closed. So although you can trade shares, you are not able to trade options. So when big moves happen during extended hours, their hands are tied and they just have to wait for the market to open and just deal with the hand they've been given. Mara Holdings cost $19,000 to close and roll. MP Materials Corp, this was a new addition to this fund. So sold short 6,000 shares and then sold 60 puts and bought 60 calls, collecting $3,700. RH was a almost $25,000 credit on that close and roll, and that's a whole lot of action there. And then finally, Tempest AI collecting $1,500, selling to go along with the new shares. So all in all, we're showing $2.4 million credit, but we also know that $2,485,000 of it came from basically selling short these shares. So if we took that out of the mix, it was really looks like a $82,000 debit on the day. All right, when we take a look at the underlyings, right, we've got lots of money. We got to keep our money sitting in treasuries and cash and government funds because when we get into these stocks, we don't actually put money into them. We sell them and collect more money. So we've got to keep the money on hand to be able to buy to close them out like we did for Lululemon. But as far as the day goes, now we want these to go down. So Adobe was up 1.35%, and that's why it dropped our market value. I don't know why. I used to have this. I must have unlocked this top at one point. I'm going to have to go back and change that. So you can see the headers or the titles as I scroll. Astera Labs down 1.73%. Up. So that brought our value down. Applied Digital was down over 3%. So that increased our value by $20,000. Broadcom up big time. That's another one that got big news, I believe, in the pre-market this morning or after hours yesterday. So that one hurt us a lot. Bloom Energy up 3.93%. Bitmine Immersion down 0.36%. BitDeer Technology up 2.83%. Circle Internet Group down about 2.5%. Enphase Energy up 8.5%. We shorted some stocks that sure are going up big moves. GitLab up 5.2%. Lemonade down 0.89%. The big loser today, Lululemon, which would make us the big winners there, down 18.5%. Now let's see if we bought them to close at a lower price than where they closed. That would be the best case scenario. So 167.80. We bought them at 168. So we didn't hit the bottom, but it wasn't that far off. Mara Holdings up 0.5%. RH up 6.7%. And Tempest AI up 1.9%. So I'll have to I'll edit that because sometimes these continue to settle out after I've copied and pasted. So I'll adjust that $99,000 to a $102,000 drop in value. Ooh, I did forget. We'll go back to it in just a second. It's now a almost $11 million assets under management for the fund. People did buy into it yesterday, 50,000 new shares, so we're up to 225,000 outstanding shares. The NAV at the start of the day, 48.62. It closed at 48.29. And that's about it. So this will now be the first weekend where, no, never mind. We already had the first weekend, right? They announced that we just got paid roughly 70 cents off of them today. So today was payday for them and Ulti, as well as the rest of the Friday payers for YieldMax. And I realized I forgot to speak about this portion of Ulti. So we'll back up for just a second. Ulti at $3.1 billion assets under management. There was some selling out of the fund yesterday, 700,000 shares. There's still 569 million outstanding shares. And our NAV and closing price actually ended real close to each other today. I need to update those, right? Because that's a even 9 cents was the most recent. That was today. I can't remember SLTY's exactly. 70 point something. We'll update it. But all right, that's all I got for you. Dad joke of the day is the only thing left, and then I'll let you go. So thank you, everyone, for all the likes, shares, comments, feedback, everything like that. If you are interested and you haven't seen it yet, I did make a video on the new Roundhill Fund WPay. This has actually been my best video ever as far as views, so that's exciting. Had my best video ever as far as making money a couple days ago, but that's just because people were just unbelievably generous giving money on it. But so it's cool in the same week to have two of my best videos ever. But I collected some information there if you like it. Very similar to the SLTY video that I made back when SLTY came out. So I'm going to try and do things like that when there's highly anticipated funds coming out. I'll just make a quick video talking all about it. But all right, dad joke of the day. I had a date last night, and it was perfect. Tomorrow, I think I'll try a grape. You might have to think about that one for a minute, but it's pretty good. All right, have a good weekend. Try not to think about stocks for a little bit, and I'll catch you in the Sunday week look ahead and payment guesstimate video. Good night.